Welcome to Lesson 1 in my Taekwondo series. As a lifelong student myself, I'm excited to share with you my experience and fun new approach to training Taekwondo. My interactive video lessons are meant to cover a lot of ground fairly quickly. But when it comes down to it, this is all about having fun and training hard. In this series, there won't be any beating around the bush. The goal is to take anyone from beginner to expert in 24 videos. I'm sincerely happy you joined me on this journey. We'll begin by jogging in place or running in circles if your space allows it. Since this is our first lesson, I'll fill you in on some backstory along the way. Taekwondo has ancient origins in the Korean peninsula. Its history can be traced back over 2,000 years to the Three Kingdoms period as far back as 57 BC, when martial arts was practiced for self-defense and military training. Taekwondo means the way of the foot and fist, and reflects both the physical techniques and the philosophical principles behind the art. Taekwondo evolved through the centuries, influenced by Korean warriors' need for combat skills, notably the Hwarang, an elite group of noble youth during the Silla Kingdom. These young warriors practiced martial arts as part of their education, focusing on courage, loyalty, and discipline. After Korea was colonized by Japan, 1910 to 1945, indigenous martial arts faced suppression. Following Korea's liberation, practitioners worked to revive and unify Korean martial arts under the banner of Taekwondo. In 1955, General Choi Hong Hi, often considered the father of modern Taekwondo, and the man whose book we're studying, officially named and formalized the martial art, incorporating elements of traditional Korean fighting styles, as well as techniques from karate and other martial arts, learned during the Japanese occupation. Though Taekwondo is a martial art, its principles transcend physical combat, incorporating moral and spiritual dimensions influenced by Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. These philosophies emphasize inner peace, respect, and self-control. Let's now switch to jumping jacks for the next couple of minutes. Practitioners are expected to uphold values such as courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit, known as the 5 tenets of Taekwondo. These guiding principles encourage not only physical discipline, but also the pursuit of moral excellence, contributing to personal growth and the betterment of society. Taekwondo's journey from ancient battlefields to Olympic arenas speaks to its enduring relevance. It continues to inspire generations by promoting a balance of physical power and inner peace, urging practitioners to seek harmony between their bodies, minds, and the world around them. Taekwondo's legacy is one of courage, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence. Through this martial art, individuals are empowered to rise above challenges and make a positive impact on the world. Now take a pole for balance or stand near a wall. Let's do some leg swings to warm up our legs, starting with our left side. Swing your leg forward and backward, like so. Switch legs. Now let's swing them side to side to wake up our hips. Switch sides. Let's do some arm circles to warm up our shoulders. Switch to hip circles. Let's take our pole and do some torso twists. You can also do this without the pole. Let's do some Bruce Lee style alternating lunges. Drop to the floor and do push-ups. Quickly move into a seated position and do sit-ups. Forward fold to stretch out our hamstrings. Left quad stretch. Right quad stretch. Butterfly pose. Straddle forward fold. Let's stand up for a shoulder stretch behind the back. Let's finish up our warm-up with a set of squats. Great, we've finished our warm-up. We'll train our bodies similarly in nearly every session. Having an athletic and capable body will allow us to achieve martial arts greatness. In Taekwondo, we must have freedom in our joints to kick high. So we'll develop our flexibility alongside our skills. Now we'll move into our Taekwondo practice by meeting in the basic attention stance. Feet together and arms down by the side. We'll meditate here for a minute. Become familiar with this resting pose, as we will use it to start every practice. From this point on, we'll take the attention pose with the classic Korean term, shariot. Live each day with a focus on discipline, respect, and balance. The principles of Taekwondo, courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit, should be woven into our daily actions. By practicing mindfulness, the martial artist becomes conscious of thoughts and behaviors, striving to live with honor and integrity in every situation. Everywhere we go, we should exhibit humility and a commitment to personal growth. Each day is an opportunity to refine our skills and our character, ensuring our actions align with our values as martial artists. Now focus your breathing and find a rhythm that you can maintain for the rest of this practice. Next, we'll become familiar with the ready stance. This will be the stance in which we initiate our exercises and pattern practice. This stance will be referred to with the classical Korean term junbi. Ready your stance and focus your mind for the next minute. To practice martial arts philosophy and mindset, we can integrate specific rituals into our daily routine. Early morning meditation or deep breathing exercises help cultivate focus and mental clarity, setting a peaceful and centered tone for the day. Regular practice of Poomsae, also known as forms, which we'll introduce shortly, not only sharpens technique but also reinforces the mind-body connection, encouraging a state of flow and calmness. At the end of each day, we can engage in reflection or journaling to assess how well we've embodied Taekwondo's tenets, allowing room for improvement. By maintaining these and other rituals, we strengthen our philosophy and carry the spirit of Taekwondo into all aspects of life. Take your mind back to your breath and find your rhythm. Let's start our first drill for today, the riding stance punch drill. First, step out with your left foot into riding stance and raise your left fist to your target. Second, punch with your right hand first and then your left hand while focusing your power at the tip of your fists. Third, repeat the punches. Finally, retreat to ready stance and start from the top. Step and raise your left fist to target while loading your punching hand back to your hip. Right punch, left punch, right punch, left punch. Back to ready stance. Step, raise and load. Right punch, left punch, right punch, left punch. Ready stance. We'll repeat this drill for about 60 more seconds. Attention, chariot. Let's move on to our next drill, the front stance punch drill. From ready stance, step your left foot forward into front stance and punch with your left fist. Step back to ready stance and repeat the action on the right side. This one is fairly straightforward, so let's all continue on our own. Attention, chariot. Next, we'll do the same movement, but instead of punches, we'll perform a low block. From ready stance, step your left foot forward into front stance and block with your left wrist. Step back to ready stance and repeat on your other side. Let's continue the drill on our own. Attention, chariot. Now, we'll do the forward-moving front stance punch drill. From ready stance, initiate your first step and punch on the left side and continue on the right. Repeat until you've reached the end of your space. Then turn around and continue. Attention, chariot. Let's move on to the backward-moving front stance block drill. Starting in ready stance, step your right foot back and block with your left arm. Then we'll step our left foot back and block with our right arm. Turn around and keep going once you get to the other end of the space. Attention, chariot. Now, let's do these drills moving forward and backward. We'll punch moving forward until we get to the other side of our space. Then we'll block moving backward. Ready? Junbi. Begin. Attention. Good job, everyone. We've finished with our drills, and now we'll move into our first pattern practice. Also known as Poomsae, this pattern, known as Chonji, translates to heaven and earth, and is interpreted as the creation of the world. Thus, it is the pattern of the beginner. The pattern has 19 steps, and we'll learn them in sections starting with the first 4 movements. Let's all take ready stance. Junbi. 1. Step left to front stance with a low block. 2. Step right and punch. 3. Lift right foot, pivot 180 degrees, and step into right front stance with a low block. 4. Step left and punch. Junbi. 1. Step left and low block. 2. Step right and punch. 3. Pivot and low block. 4. Step left and punch. Junbi. 1. Step left and low block. 2. Step right and punch. 3. Pivot and low block. 4. Step left and punch. Junbi. Great job. That was the first of 5 sections. Now we'll move on to the second section of the pattern, which consists of the next 4 movements. We'll start in position 4, the left front stance and middle punch facing the right. From here, 5. Turn left and low block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot right 180 degrees and step into right front stance with a low block. 8. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find your starting stance in position 4 facing the right. 5. Turn left and low block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot and low block. 8. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find your starting stance in position 4 facing the right. 5. Turn left and low block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot and low block. 8. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find your starting stance in position 4 facing the right. 5. Turn left and low block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot and low block. 8. Step left and punch. Junbi. We've now finished the first 8 movements of the pattern. This section symbolizes heaven. Let's move on to the earth sections of the pattern. Finding your starting stance in position 8. We left off facing the rear in left front stance and a middle punch. 9. Turn left and find right back stance while executing a middle block with your left forearm. 10. Step right and punch. 11. Pivot 180 degrees to left back stance and middle block. 12. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find starting position 8. Left front stance and punch facing the rear. 9. Turn left to right back stance and middle block. 10. Step right and punch. 11. Pivot to left back stance and middle block. 12. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find starting position 8. Left front stance and punch facing the rear. 9. Turn left to right back stance and middle block. 10. Step right and punch. 11. Pivot to left back stance and middle block. 12. Step left and punch. Junbi. Let's move on to section 4, starting where we ended in position 12, which is a left front stance and middle punch facing the left. From here, 13. Turn left for right back stance and middle block. 14. Step right and punch. 15. Pivot 180 degrees to left back stance, middle block. 16. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find starting position 12. Left front stance and middle punch facing the left. 13. Turn left for right back stance and middle block. 14. Step right and punch. 15. Pivot to left back stance, middle block. 16. Step left and punch. Junbi. Find starting position 12. Left front stance and middle punch facing the left. 13. Turn left for right back stance and middle block. 14. Step right and punch. 15. Pivot to left back stance, middle block. 16. Step left and punch. Junbi. Let's move on to the final section of the pattern. Starting in position 16, left front stance and middle punch facing forward. From here, 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step left back and punch. Junbi. Starting position 16 in left front stance with a middle punch facing forward. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step left back and punch. Junbi. Starting position. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step left back and punch. Junbi. Starting position. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step left back and punch. Junbi. Starting position. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step left back and punch. Junbi. A few quick tips before we move on to practicing the full 19-step pattern. First of all, the starting 8 movements all use forward stance. Second, every time you step, you are punching or blocking with the same side as your stepping leg. Third, steps 8 to 16 contain front stance and back stance. Every back stance is accompanied by a middle block. Finally, all pivots cross behind your rear foot, not in front. With that said, let's practice the full pattern a few times. I'm going to keep the cues as simple as possible. Let's begin. 1. Turn left and block. 2. Step right and punch. 3. Pivot and block. 4. Step left and punch. 5. Turn left and block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot and block. 8. Step left and punch. 9. Turn left to back stance and middle block. 10. Step right and punch. 11. Pivot to back stance and middle block. 12. Step left and punch. 13. Turn left to back stance and middle block. 14. Step right and punch. 15. Pivot to back stance and middle block. 16. Step left and punch. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step back and punch. Junbi. 1. Turn left and block. 2. Step right and punch. 3. Pivot and block. 4. Step left and punch. 5. Turn left and block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot and block. 8. Step left and punch. 9. Turn left to back stance and middle block. 10. Step right and punch. 11. Pivot to back stance and middle block. 12. Step left and punch. 13. Turn left to back stance and middle block. 14. Step right and punch. 15. Pivot to back stance and middle block. 16. Step left and punch. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step back and punch. Junbi. 1. Turn left and block. 2. Step right and punch. 3. Pivot and block. 4. Step left and punch. 5. Turn left and block. 6. Step right and punch. 7. Pivot and block. 8. Step left and punch. 9. Turn left to back stance and middle block. 10. Step right and punch. 11. Pivot to back stance and middle block. 12. Step left and punch. 13. Turn left to back stance and middle block. 14. Step right and punch. 15. Pivot to back stance and middle block. 16. Step left and punch. 17. Step right and punch. 18. Step back and punch. 19. Step back and punch. Junbi. That'll wrap up our pattern work for today's lesson. Meet me on the floor in a forward fold. Let's begin our cooldown. I like to stretch out at the end of my sessions to make sure I'm developing flexibility in each practice. We'll hold each stretch for about 90 seconds. Put your hands behind you facing forward. Lift your hips and move them closer to your feet. Now reach deep into this shoulder stretch. Let's all switch to straddle forward fold for the next 90 seconds. Good. Now comes the last part of our cooldown. Let's all meet in hero pose to meditate on our practice and visualize everything we learned, plus what we'd like to improve next time. Focus your mind and your breathing. This is your opportunity to internalize today's practice. We'll be here for the next 5 minutes. I hope you enjoyed today's Taekwondo practice. Hopefully, I'll see you again in the next lesson and throughout the rest of this series.